Welcome back, everyone. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and my guest today founded a video game studio in Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I'm very excited to talk to them. Aaron and Niky, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. I hear weather is crazy both where I am and where you are, so I'm glad we both made it into the studio to record today. And I'm stoked. You guys, you founded your own video game studio. Let's just start there. How did this come up?
Well, we had both always enjoyed playing video games just in general. And then I guess there was just this natural transition to making video games. We worked at another studio for about 4.5, 5 years, and then decided that we wanted to start making games that we enjoyed playing. And so we decided to make our own studio.
All right. So did you? When did you start learning how to make a video game? Because there are tons of people out there that play games, but not everyone knows how to make them. So how did you get into that?
I started programming. I used to be a dancer, and I blew out my knee, so I couldn't do that anymore. And so I started programming around 2007. And originally, I had planned on doing software development, and then the indie developer video game scene kind of took off, and the tools became more readily available. So started doing that.
So you're self-taught.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay. So about how long did it take for you to get to the point where you felt, hey, I think I can make a playable game. I think I can go and make a studio.
Probably about 5 years, I think.
Yeah.
And then we started doing game jams, and those turned out okay. So.
Yeah. I think that was really our turning point, because a game jam is basically you have a certain amount of time, like 72 hours, to think of a game, create the game, and then submit the game. And in that amount of time, I mean, we were able to create over the course of like 6 different game jams. We were able to create fun and energetic games that everybody seemed to enjoy.
Wow, that's impressive. I consider myself a pretty big game nerd, and game jams are a new concept to me. That sounds intense, actually. Like having to turn around a game that quickly.
Yeah, there's a lack of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
A lot of lack of sleep.
Well, that comes with the territory of games in general, whether you are making them or playing them. Sometimes, I guess it depends on how into the game you are.
Mm-hmm.
But well, that's awesome. So I'm assuming, are you originally from Las Cruces? Is that why you decided to found your studio in Las Cruces?
Depends on your definition, I guess. Born and raised, not necessarily, but spent most of our lives here in Las Cruces.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say that fits my definition.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. So, I mean, we typically, when we have people on here and we talk about whatever their product or their project or their company is, we talk about the customer. You know, anytime you have an idea, you have to ask yourself that question. So now yours, obviously, it seems obvious. It seems obvious at face value, right? Well, customers, people who like games, and nowadays, just about everyone plays video games.
Whether or not it's on the phone
Exactly.
or Xbox, PS4, PC, yeah, pretty much everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you go about figuring out who you were building games for? I mean, you said at the opening that it was you wanted to make games that you enjoyed playing. Was that just kind of the initial drive? Let's make it for ourselves and see if an audience comes?
Yeah, we figured if we liked something that there would be a group of people out there that would like it as well. It's kind of hard to target specifically with video games because there's so many of them out there. It's like music. It's hard to just focus on one group only, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are so many genres and subgenres within games. So out of curiosity, what kind of games do you like playing, and then we can move into, I guess, the games you are building.
Oh man,
I like puzzle games. I've always been into doing like cryptograms and things like that back in the day when people had newspapers. And Sudoku and a whole bunch of different like wordplay games and stuff like that. So I focus on doing single player story-driven puzzle games.
Oh, very cool. And Aaron?
I pretty much enjoy anything that's multiplayer that you can play with friends. So a lot of the focus on my games that I design are, multiplayer based. as well.
Okay. Now, what kind of, because multiplayer extends pretty. That's a pretty wide net.
For example, we have like a multiplayer freeze tag game that you can play with about 10 people, and that one's more of an arcade style game more than any other game, I think. And then right now we're working on like a top-down hero shooter, which is also multiplayer with 6 people. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 players.
Yeah, and like a silly world kind of thing.
That sounds almost to have a retro angle. Do you find yourself drawn to that that medium?
No, I just think that's what we want to do right now. We'll see where we go after that.
Yeah.
That's great. How many of these came about as a result of the game jams?
Actually, some of the characters in the game we're currently working on are from game jams that we had done. We just kind of adopted them into that universe.
Oh, that's great. So what is your process like? I mean, obviously through the game jams you've learned to, I guess, conceptualize and iterate pretty quickly.
For me, I get an idea and then I just start going at it and seeing where it takes me. A lot of people like to plan out ahead of time, but every time that we try to do that, we find there's a lot of flaws in gameplay that we didn't think about until we were able to actually play it. And then you can...
Yeah, I'm a thinker. I think about it for a while, kind of get ideas down, put them into a game design document if it's a complex idea, and then I try to follow that as best as I can. And like he said, sometimes you run into unforeseen things that you didn't really think about in the beginning, and you have to kind of work solutions as you go.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense to me, since you started with, well, I like puzzle games. It seems to
I'm a problem solver.
A natural fit. That's really interesting to hear that you two clearly have different ways that you approach starting a new title.
And we really help each other out sometimes. Like that's one of the things that we wanted to do with our studio, was rather than have one person who's a lead designer and one person who's a lead programmer, both of us are capable of doing across the spectrum work. And what that allows us to do is have multiple projects going at the same time, and then being able to assist each other and work together in the event that one of us is having a roadblock. That's
good to hear as well. With a lot of small businesses, you frequently come across people who are wearing many hats, and it seems that even in a small gaming studio, that is true.
Yeah.
So is it just the two of you that are running Fat Bomb Studios?
No, we have we're the two main stakeholders in the company, and then we have Terry Simons. She's our finance manager. She's got 35 years experience working for the state of California. She's retired now, so it was a nice fit for her. And then 2 other individuals that we've known over the last 5 years who have also done video game development.
Oh, nice. How did you go about building your team? I can only assume that when you got started, it was probably just the two of you.
We actually took the other 2 people. They're Steven Rodriguez and Nate Rodriguez, and we brought them with us whenever we started the company. And then Terry came in as well, right about the same time. So we actually started at about the same time.
Yeah. We knew that we wanted to make sure to have a close-knit group, not this giant group, but at the same time, more brains is better when you're trying to come up with ideas and problem solving and stuff like that. So
nice. So it was a natural fit. Did you? Because a lot of people, not everyone can move into a team environment immediately and just click. Did it come naturally to you to collaborate with others?
Well, we worked with Steven and Nate for 5 years before, and then
okay.
And then Terry's a pretty easygoing person, so
yeah. I guess being retired does that to someone.
Sounds like she's easy to get along with, or he. Terry.
She.
Okay. Wasn't sure. I've known both.
Yes. Yeah.
So how did the Arrowhead Center get involved?
Well, we found out about the Arrowhead Center and Studio G and the incubator through a couple of mutual friends who had told us about it, and we were interested in seeing what they had to offer, as well as what we could do for them, and try to create like kind of a symbiotic relationship of collaboration. And they have a lot of good resources, like the 3D printer we just recently used for our prizes that we did for a trade show, video game conference, and so that was really nice of them to give those up for us. And then they've also helped introduce us to a lot of people in the same community who are also doing creative media projects. So it's been really nice that they've connected us with those people.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I've had a chance to see the 3D printing lab there as well. It's I could spend hours just playing in there.
Yeah.
So, tell me about the trade show circuit. How many have you done, and what is it like having to prepare to go and you know?
Well, as of right now, we've done one, which was local.
Okay.
And it was a great turnout. The prep work was extensive. I mean, you've got to get all of your promo items and get all your dates and get your booth and your banners. And I mean, there's a huge long list of things. We started planning like 3 months in advance. But it really paid off when we got there and everybody really seemed to enjoy the games that we had for them to test. So.
Oh, well, that's great. Now, what is it like getting your, because I'm assuming you go to the trade show and you have your game or multiple games out and playable.
Mm-hmm.
What is that like internally? Because I have some friends who are into indie development as well, and I know in their case a lot of times internally there's a lot of bugs, and it's not the easiest thing to just pick up and play if you're not the one actually working on it. What is it like getting a playable version of your game ready for the con floor?
I mean, we test the games daily to make sure that we limit the amount of bugs that people are going to be exposed to. We worked on the build for Galactic Feud, which is that game that I was working on. We worked on the build for the con for about 2 months nonstop to make sure there weren't any bugs or anything people would run into. I think it's more terrifying because you're going to have brand new opinions coming in for the game, because we have a local group of testers, but I mean they warmed up to us, so there's not anything that's going to surprise us. But having brand new people play it is a little unnerving at first, but then it gets exciting after that.
Oh yeah, especially when you have one or two people or more people who really latch on to the game or the idea, and they just seem to enjoy it so wholeheartedly that just warms your heart as a developer.
Yeah, we had one guy come back like 7 times during the day to keep playing multiple times.
Yeah,
that has to feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Do you get the opposite side of that pendulum? Do you get overly critical players? Because gamers being critical, I've never heard of such a thing.
At the convention, I think we only had one critical person.
Yeah.
Most people seem to most people are on a con highs, what I like to call it, where they're all excited anyway, so they're not normally critical in that environment. But we do deal with a lot of criticism, but that's expected in any kind of art field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it helpful? Do you get a lot of helpful feedback that helps you go back to your studio after the con is over and make improvements?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any input at all is going to be useful as long as we've had to learn to interpret it over the last 5 years. So.
Yeah, I mean, there will be some times where we'll have to determine whether or not what they're saying is more towards a opinion base rather than like a personal preference rather than an actual game-changing effect.
Yeah.
That's a good distinction to bring up. I like that. You don't know if it's like, well, maybe it's just not the game for them. Or exactly. Are they actually giving you a critique that helps with what you're trying to accomplish with the title that they played?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you talked about Galactic Feud. Tell me about some of the other games. Do you have any games that are on the market right now that people listening or watching can go and play?
Yeah, we have a game called Quantum Lock. It's he mentioned it earlier. It's a freeze tag style online multiplayer game. It's a lot of fun to play with your friends. And basically, the story behind it is you have a series of rogue programs and an antivirus. And the antivirus has to tag or freeze, isolate all of the rogue programs running amok in the system.
Within a time limit.
Yeah, within a time limit.
And they all have abilities that they can use, the rogue programs and the antivirus. So it's an asymmetrical multiplayer game. Nice.
Now, I've taken a look at this. I love the art style. Tell me a little bit about it. And for those who don't have a visual, it's a little. I'm gonna go with it. Looks. I like it almost looks like old school Tron to me.
That's exactly the inspiration we had for it. We wanted a gritty computer world, but we didn't want to just do wireframe, so we had a lot of concrete in the environments.
Yeah,
And the characters, we kept wireframe and holographic looking to make them, I don't know, look digital.
Simulation style.
I really enjoy that blend of styles. It's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have some nice, photo textures in there mixed with the very clean, bright colors. It's nice. So where can folks go and play this game now?
They can get it on Steam, which is an online
Distributor?
for PC. Yeah.
I may have a lot of games on Steam, some of which I may have never played.
We all have.
Your wall of shame. Yeah, no, Steam is fantastic. So for those out there who, and myself included, I'm totally just asking for myself. I've never submitted a game to Steam. What is the process like for getting a game approved and listed on the Steam store?
Nerve-wracking. No.
Yeah.
You can be honest. It's okay.
We have to go through a process called greenlighting, where you basically pitch your idea to the community, and they say whether or not they would buy the game. And then if you get enough support behind it, Valve, who are the owners of Steam, will contact you and help you get it on the store. Once you get past the greenlight stage, because the greenlight took us a while, but once you get past that, it's really fast. I mean,
Yeah.
they give you the tools yourself to get everything set up.
Yeah, you make your own store page, you set up your own pricing schemes, all of that stuff you do on your own through their application tool.
Nice. And would you say it's I don't know what I'm sure Steam takes a cut of your sales. Would you say that the tools that they give you and how easy they make it is worth the percentage that they take out of your profit?
Yeah.
I think having that visibility is gonna. I mean, it's
Yeah, a
worth
global
anything
distributor is hard to come by.
Yeah, and that
Yes.
is a big thing. Is Steam anybody? I mean, we've had people from France and Germany buy the game, and of course, over here in the United States, so Australia as well.
Russia. There was a lot in Russia.
And we wouldn't be able to do that on our own.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you get to hear from the buyers in the regions outside of the U.S.?
Yeah, they can leave reviews.
Yeah. They can leave reviews or go to the community spot in Steam, and they can leave comments, suggestions, anything like that.
Oh, that's exciting. So, are there any other venues you're looking at getting your game out there? I mean, I know there, as far as indie developers, you have things like Xbox Live Arcade. You have the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, when we get a game designed that would fit a console, we'd probably put it over there. Right now, we have a focus on PC for now.
It's just easiest to develop for because of the tools available.
Well, and finding testers is a lot easier than trying to get people to come over to test on a console.
That is a thing I frequently don't even think about when I'm reading about game development. It's like, yeah, if you're developing for a console, it's a closed system. It's not like you can just push it out to your buddy and he can go play it on his Xbox. At least not without modding your Xbox and breaking your terms of service with Microsoft.
No, we do not condone doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not simple at all. So I can completely understand why you would go to PC first. And I mean, I personally, PC is my favorite platform. So.
Yeah, both of us are PC gamers first. I can't use both my thumbs at the same time, apparently. That I can't use controllers, so PC is the only way for me.
It took me a long time to get used to that. Probably because the first controller I ever had with a joystick was Nintendo 64, and it only had one. But
no, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, this is fascinating. So what's next? So you have Quantum Lock. It's up on Steam. You've already talked about a couple other games. So what is next for Fat Bomb Studios?
Well, for me, it's to get Galactic Feud out, and then you're working on your platformer.
Yeah, I'm working on a physics-based platformer like Super Meat Boy. It's very hazardous, very deadly. And you play as a cute bunny, that bunny ball that you fling around the screen, trying to avoid all the hazards and reach the goal. So it's a twist on the original Run and Jumpers, which that's one of the things that I always try to do. I try to create almost a new genre. That's what I like doing. And so I'm hoping to get that one released hopefully by the end of the year. We'll see how game development goes.
Will that also be available on PC?
Yes. And that one, I'm also, because it is a flinging mechanism, I'm also going to be looking at mobile release.
Oh, great. Yeah, that does seem like it would be a natural fit.
Yeah.
Are you now when you say you're currently developing it? Do you work on that in tandem, or are you like PC and mobile at the same time, or do you build PC first and then once that's finished, do you try and port it?
I'm doing the PC first and then trying to port it over. I don't. A lot of times people have to worry about LODs and stuff like that, like trying to make sure that their graphics can not only read on the PC but also on the mobile, because there's obviously a difference between those. I don't have that problem because mine's in a 2D world, so I'm using 2D flat sprites, so the transition should be a lot easier graphically.
Nice. So you're doing like more old school sprite-based animation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in seeing this.
Well, if you want to be a tester.
Ooh, actually, that might be good information. If anyone out there does want to be a tester, how can they go about doing that?
They can email us at contact@fatbombstudios.com.
Oh, great. Well, fantastic. Well, Aaron and Niky, I've really enjoyed this talk with you all. And feel free to come back anytime you have a new game out for people to try.
Definitely.
So before we go, you mentioned fatbombstudios.com. Anywhere else folks can find and keep up with you?
We post most frequently to Twitter and Facebook. You can also find us on Google+, YouTube, Twitch. We can't really do streaming right now because of our internet provider, but it's kind of spotty. But as soon as we get that back up and running, we'll be available on Twitch more frequently.
I know that pain all too well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Streaming is streaming can be a pain. If your internet isn't behaving. Well, wonderful. Everyone go check that out. Check out Quantum Lock on the Steam store. If you're not familiar with Steam, you can go to store.steampowered.com. And Aaron and Niky, thank you again. Have a great one.
Thank you,
as
you too.
well.